So to fill you in a little bit about Smile, so I suppose you've all received plenty of emails from us by now, so I think most of you probably have a good idea of what it's about. But to put it in context for you, so Smile, as I already mentioned, stands for saving money through industry and exchanges. So it's a free service, so I suppose that's a key thing about it. It's a free service, a support to businesses to try and help you to save money, to identify cost savings in your businesses, and to try and create a network of businesses that will reuse each other's materials. So it's built on the premise that the idea that one person's waste could be another person's raw material. Okay. So we're hoping that through businesses engaging and through networking and through meeting each other, that you'd be able to try and find and identify potential exchanges that can happen. So it's how is it funded? It's as you see, there's a kind of a number of different funding partners. The primary funder is the Environmental Protection Agency, and we're delighted to have Kieran Phillips here from the EPA today, and he'll be talking to you at the end of the day. So it's funded under it's a suite of programs that the EPA offered called Be Green. So we're delighted to be one of those programs that the EPA is offering. So there's lots of other initiatives as well that the EPA have to support businesses, and it comes under that title. So then in Limerick, Clare Kerry, as already mentioned, we have the Regional Waste Management Authority, and we also are Regional Waste Management Office. We have the 4 enterprise boards in the region, so Clare County Enterprise Board, Limerick City Enterprise Board, Limerick County Enterprise Board, and Kerry County Enterprise Board. And then in Cork, we have, again, 4 enterprise boards in Cork, and we have the 2 local authorities in Cork City and Cork County. So what is Smile? What are the aims of Smile, and what do we want to do? So I suppose we talked a little bit already about saving money, but I suppose that is a key thing for businesses, particularly in this climate. So we definitely do think that you can save money, and we hope that by this process that you will be able to identify savings in your business. And we want to divert waste from landfill, so looking at the Regional Waste Management Office and the Environmental Protection Agency, so they are very concerned with environmental issues. So we're trying to obviously landfill is the least, is the choice, but the last option that we want people to be doing in terms of disposing of their waste. So recovery, recycle, reuse, prevention, all the way up the hierarchy of waste. So we're all about reuse and trying to find reuse for resources in businesses and across businesses. And then the third is identifying economic opportunity. We think, especially with the involvement of the enterprise boards, there's definitely opportunity to see, can a waste be turned into a resource, and is there business opportunities for people? So is there any entrepreneurs, in the room or in Limerick, Clare and Kerry that can identify an opportunity for themselves at turning a waste into a resource? So I suppose just one example is, and I'll talk a little bit more about that, so turning sawdust into a briquette. So how do we do this? We do this in 3 different ways. We run networking events, so roundtable networking, as you'd see. So that's the purpose of today. So we'll have, after the break, we'll have the structured facilitated networking, where you'll be able to identify potential matches that might happen, that might be in the room that you can work on today. But we don't see it as just a networking event. This is just an introduction. This is the first time we've been in Limerick, but it's in Clare, sorry, we're actually in Clare. But it's the website is hugely important as well. So it's smileexchange.ie. I suppose most of you have registered on the website already. So the idea is that the website, that is continually you can engage on the website, that this event is just the starting point, but that you can always post your items on the website, and a lot of you, I suppose you've all seen the website by now. And then thirdly, we have a support team in the office, so you'll have met Adam and Catherine and John on the way in the registration desk, and myself. So we have a team in the office that are available to support you and to try and see if we can help you identify any particular matches. So then what are the benefits to business? So obviously, as I said, saving money on waste disposal costs, but on the other side then, saving money on purchasing costs. So if 2 businesses can make an exchange, and if one person saves on their waste costs, the other person is saving on the purchasing costs, so they're not having to purchase a raw material. So there can be cost savings on both sides. Obviously, I suppose the purpose of not only these networking events as Margaret mentioned earlier as well, it's not only just to identify the potential matches, there's huge other benefits that can happen in terms of linking businesses at events like this. And we hope that other things may come out for you that may not be directly related to making an exchange, but just by meeting each other, other potential partnerships may emerge. Obviously, diverting waste from landfill is a huge part of this. And enhancing the image of your company as well. So we have a couple of business case studies that we'll be talking in a little while. So, I suppose it is a good, it's a good image to be portraying. It's almost expected these days that we are more environmentally aware. So it's Smile, I suppose, is a good place to start. And finally, as I mentioned, identifying new business opportunities. So how to engage with us? We have attending events, I think is important. As we previously mentioned, we had an event in Kerry last month. We'll be having one in Cork in February 2012. And hopefully we'll be planning more events then for 2012 as well. So you can attend events outside your region as well. It doesn't necessarily need to be in your own region. The website, as I mentioned, is key. So constantly going into the website, seeing what's available, uploading your resources, your items, what you're looking for, what you want to get. And there's a lot of kind of it'll identify if you upload an item, it'll do a search to see if there's a match for you, and we'll be following up and then to support you to try and follow up on the matches. Uploading a company profile, so as I mentioned as well, there's a space on the website for you to talk about your company and to explain what you do. So it's important that you keep that updated so that, because people will be reading and seeing who's members. There's over 400 members on the website now, so it's another opportunity for you to promote your company. I suppose joining us on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook, I suppose social media is something you can't ignore these days, and everyone is engaging in it. So we're engaging a lot in it at the moment. So if we try and find people or find resource. If you post a resource in the item, we tweet it out and see if there's anyone that can help you with it. And so it's good to start following us through those mediums. And then finally, we have an e-bulletin then as well that we email monthly. So if any businesses do make exchanges, we'd like you to share your story and let other businesses know about it. So this is just an overview of the website, and I suppose the key thing there in the middle is the green box in the middle, which is the resource database, which you can search for different counties and you can search for different categories. And any suggestions that any of you have, if there's any categories there that you feel that we haven't captured, please do let us know as well. So this is just to kind of give you an example of the different kind of items that are on the website currently or that have been on the website in the past. So as you can see, it's kind of wide varying. So I suppose take a little bit of time to think about your own business and see what do I have, and you mightn't realise what you have is more valuable than you actually think. So just to briefly give you a little background about where Smile all came about, I suppose it started off with in Cork. There was a website, or there is a website called wastematchers.com, which again is a reuse website, and it was for domestic and businesses to upload, very similar to the Smile website. But out of that, we found that businesses wanted to meet face to face. Not only did they want to engage on the website, they wanted to meet face to face and see could actually potential matches be identified, and meeting in a person-to-person basis. And a survey this was found out through a survey done of the business members on this particular website. And I suppose research then pointed to a very successful model happening in Northern Ireland and the UK called the National Industrial Symbiosis Programme, which has been operating since 2005 and very successfully. So I suppose we kind of know that it can be a success in other regions. So there's no reason why it can't work in Ireland, in the Republic of Ireland. So what is NISP then? We said it's the National Industrial Symbiosis Programme. Industrial symbiosis, I suppose, is another fancier way of saying one person's waste could be another person's raw material. There's a network of 12 regional teams across England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. And I suppose just to put it in context, since they began, they have 1,000 members and they've saved over 5 million in terms of disposal costs and purchasing costs for businesses, so it's quite significant. And they've also diverted 125,000 tonnes of waste from landfill. So that's just in Northern Ireland alone. So there's huge potential, to look at the whole of Ireland. So I suppose we also researched different case studies and what's out there, just to kind of give you examples of the kind of exchanges that people make. So some international examples include, I suppose, the London Underground in the UK was an interesting one, where they made exchange of the waste glass from all their trains and their from the tubes. They went to a company who was designing bespoke kitchen work surfaces. So it's just like they would have been landfilling that, and they would wouldn't have thought that they could have done anything with their waste glass, but it had a very good use. Another one is Johnson and TerraCycle. TerraCycle has started this initiative in Ireland. It's the first initiative they've ever done in Ireland. They're a pretty large international organisation, and they're trying to get as many as the baby wipes back from consumers as possible to try and convert them to baby bibs and mouse mats. Another one then, I suppose, more on a community level, Roher is an organisation in Dublin who have been taking old bikes from people, and they've created employment out of it and training opportunities for people. So I think they've had 45 people have been trained in fixing bikes since they started, and I think like a number of those people have actually went on to gain employment. So I suppose there's social and economic benefits to a waste resource as well. And then Warren again is another one, Virgin Atlantic, and a couple of large organisations like that in the airline industry. They took their airplane seat covers and their uniforms, and they turned them into kind of those little pouches that I have a picture of there, for the people on the trains and the Eurostar and McDonald's and things like that. So they turned them into a resource as well. And I suppose we don't have to look too far either in terms of what's going on in Ireland. And I suppose IKEA just is an interesting example as well, that they're doing this when they're selling they have this mattress and furniture. They work with a lot of various other organisations, reuse organisations, and they take back furniture and mattresses to convert them into other products. And also they've started looking at all their waste across the store and say, can they actually make new products out of these? So they're really trying to have a zero waste policy so that everything is reused in their business. And I suppose Claire, seeing as that we're in Clare as well, Torpy Wood Products, a lot of you probably heard of John already. It's just a very interesting one. I think Hurley's is the main thing that he manufactures. I'd asked him to actually come today, but he actually was unavailable, but I just asked him if he wouldn't mind me telling about him. So it's sawdust that he uses from the manufacturing of the waste Hurleys, and he actually makes them into to wood briquettes. So again, just looking at what you have in your business and going, what can this be reused for, and is it really a waste? So just to, I suppose, very briefly, and I'll finish up, how Smile came about. We started it off in Cork in 2010. South Cork Enterprise Board and Cork County Council and Macroom E came together in partnership to run a one-off event. And then subsequently, I suppose the feedback from businesses was very positive, and we ran a 6-month pilot project, and the EPA came involved at that stage, and all the other enterprise boards, and also the Cork City Council. So following the 6-month pilot, again, it was working, and the businesses wanted more of it, and the EPA were keen that if we would extend it outside of Cork. So that led to me getting in touch with the Limerick Kerry Enterprise Boards and the Regional Waste Management Office, and who were delighted to come on board, and I suppose we're delighted to have been rolled out in this region. And I suppose the ultimate goal with that, we would be rolling it out on a national basis. So at the moment we have over 400 members, and it's growing all the time. So any other business you know that would be of interest, definitely, I mean, it's a free service, it's very easy to use the website to sign up, so please encourage other businesses to do so. Finally then, just some couple of questions that people often ask us. So the collection and storage of items. So Smile is just a facilitator. We don't actually collect any items, we don't hold any items. It's an opportunity for you to meet and to identify any potential matches, but we don't actually get involved in the actual exchanges. We'll help you out as much as we can, but we don't get involved in holding your stuff or transporting it. Is there a charge? No, as I said a few times, it is completely free to use. And finally, is everything free?
To a point, most items are free, but obviously, you know, there's a lot of things. Waste is a resource in many aspects, and I suppose things like metals and things like that, they have a value on them now. So not everything is free, but a lot of things